Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of videos about games and the people who played them. And now, here are your hosts, Tom and Holly Vasel.
Welcome to the Dice Tower!
Yes, welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vasel. This is my co-host, the Bear, Holly Vasel. And today we're talking about some more great games. I haven't done this in a few episodes. I just wanted to talk about some great games. And if you look at my last year, 2008, I talked about games that were my top 100. But there's so many games I've played, over 1,500 different games, and there's still more games that are great other than just that 100, and that's what I'm talking about in this series. Today we're going to start out with a game called Felix the Cat in the Sack. Now, Felix the Cat in the Sack is a small game. It sounds like it's a play off Felix the Cat or even the Cat in the Hat, but basically each player has a bunch of cards that are either going to show dogs or cats of various point values, and each turn they're throwing them in the sack and then bidding chips. The game calls them mice, but come on now, if you want me to call these mice, make them in the shape of mice, to win everything that's in the bag. As the round progresses, you learn a little bit more. There's some dogs you don't want. There's some evil fat cats that you don't want. But what you're looking for are the cute cats, especially this 15.1. And you're trying to win the auction, getting these. Those people who drop out of the auction early get some of the money that other players used. But it's a very fun, fast game, and it's entertaining trying to guess exactly what's in that bag and then winning the whole bag, spending a lot of money only to find that it's full of a bunch of dogs and fat cats. So, Felix the Cat in the Sack is the first game. Secondly, It's Alive by Yehuda Berlinger and produced by Reaver Games. It's a very fun and interesting game in which players are building, their own Frankenstein out of body parts. What the game does, though, is instead of taking just the normal auction for body parts, there's different ways that you can get body parts by selling them, trying to buy them from other players. It has a fun theme in the sense that players are trying to put together this body, make their own Frankenstein, and get the body that's worth the most points. The artwork's a little gruesome-ish, mostly cartoonish, but still, I think it's enough that it could still be played with kids. And the idea of putting together Frankenstein, it's silly fun, and getting to shout, "It's alive" at some point during the game, also interesting, but very fast fun. Do I want to bid on something? Do I want to sell something? Do I want to trade something? Some simple choices, but gripping ones. And so, I think It's Alive is an excellent game. Another tremendous family game is Key Largo. Key Largo, in my opinion, is actually underrated. This game should be bought by more families. Key Largo is a game about deep sea diving. And each turn, players are going to be deciding where they're going to be going on this island. Are they going to go to the store to buy equipment that they need? Are they going to go and just try and get some money by taking tourists out on a trip? Or are they going to do what the heart of the game is, and that is dig in wrecks to see if they're going to find precious artifacts, or if they're really unlucky, perhaps a monster. And if they do find a monster, that's the end of the line for them. But at the same time, perhaps they have a weapon to fight off the monster. But did you buy the right things? What makes the game really interesting is everyone decides to do what they're going to accomplish each turn at the same time. And so if everybody goes to the store, the prices are higher for everybody because the demand is greater. If you're the only person to go to the store, you do better off. It works also a negative way if you're going to sell things. You want more people to go, and it depends on how many people go to sell and how many people go buy. All that works together. Who is going to search what part of the water to look for treasure? What kind of treasures are you going to find? A lot of fun, and while the strategy is really interesting, it still has a lot of luck in what you find as you go through the water and the treasures, and sometimes it seems like no matter where you go, someone else is going there too. But still a lot of fun for families, some light, entertaining family fare. The fourth game I'm talking about today is The Hanging Gardens. Now, honestly, when I first saw this one, I thought, really? Another game about the Hanging Gardens? And when I saw the game, I wasn't that impressed. The game is basically just a board where you're going to be putting tiles down. You're going to be trying to win these tiles. And you win these tiles by placing cards. Well, whoopee-ta-doo. But what's really interesting is each of these cards has different temples on them. And when you play these cards, you're placing them on top of other cards, trying to put together groups of temples of the same color. There's some rules on how you have to place these cards, but it's really interesting to me on how this all works together, because while it's in essence a solitaire game, I'm putting cards down on my own thing, you might take a card that someone else wants and there's some level of interaction there. It's a lot of fun to try and figure out exactly where to put the games. It's almost like a puzzle. But if you say, well, I hate puzzles, I'm not going to try this out, I would urge you to try it anyway. It's more of a find a card and where's a good spot to put it, and then when you do put it down, what tile do you want to take, and getting the right sets of tiles wins. The game is made for 2 to 4 players, but I would recommend that it seems best with 2 players because there's a lot of back and forth, and you just have fun putting this collection, and as the cards grow, and they can grow any way you want, it just makes for an interesting way look at your board, which is a pile of cards, and then what tiles you collect because of them. I'm not real keen on the theme. The Hanging Gardens doesn't really seem to have anything to do with it, but still a very fun family game that's short and especially good for 2 players. Now, a newer game than the rest of these. Most of these are fairly new, but this one's the newest, and I might be a bit keen on it because just today I was eating some sushi with wasabi sauce, and here, this game, Wasabi. And you know this theme is going to be attractive to people. You know, I mean, the box itself looks like a little kit that you might get from the delivery man to your door. The board itself, you can see you're getting to roll up some sushi there. And on this board, you're going to be placing different sushi ingredients. And if you're lucky enough, you'll win some wasabi cubes. And these cubes will give you extra points. Basically, what Wasabi is it's a pictorial game of Scrabble. At least that's the way I look at it. Because as the game progresses, you are going to be using your menu here. And in your menu, you'll be putting different recipes. And each recipe shows you a different combination of ingredients that you need to put together. If you put them all in the exact order that the recipe shows you, then you've completed it in style, which gives you these wasabi cubes. Or you can complete it in any order, which still gets you points. But there's only so much room on the board. A few special cards that let you rearrange pieces, that let you put an ingredient on top of another ingredient, add a bit to it. And the theme, I mean, do sushi chefs sit there and try and put all their different ingredients in rows? No, but it still works really well. And even if you say, well, I really don't like sushi, I can understand that point of view. You're crazy. But it still looks really good. Really sharp, snap looking ingredients on the table. Putting them out, trying to figure out what your opponent's doing. Maybe you can block him with your recipes. Move that critical piece that he's trying to get into place. It can be played kind of cutthroat, although it can also be played by people who are just trying to get their recipes together, ignoring everyone else. So I enjoy the game. For me, it might be a little too light, but I'm overruled in this one because every time I bring this out, people are interested in trying it out. Although I think some people just want to play the game so they can shout wasabi as loud as they can. Can you say wasabi?
Wasabi.
Yeah, see? And that's what some people are all enthused about. That's by Z-Man Games, and I recommend that you give that one a try. Well, these are 5 more great games. We'll talk about some more of them. Meanwhile, I'll be shooting out some more reviews this week of some great games that you should look at, and possibly some ones that you should stay far, far away from. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is a very beautiful girl named Holly. We'll see you guys next time. Huh? And a bear. You're right.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.